And just understanding that, like just the gratitude aspect. Okay, great, I got this little bit. All right, let's keep on going. All right, let's not dwell too much on this. What can we have done better? Okay, great, let's keep on moving. That cognitive behavior goes a long way to
Right.
continue to move forward.
I made it through the rough time. I made it through the tough time. I made it through the bad time. So now I gotta get mine. Gotta weather the storm. Gotta get mine. Gotta weather the storm. I gotta get mine. Gotta weather the storm. Okay. One day we gon' get on. Talk to 'em. You ain't got a choice.
Welcome to Bailey and Buck Unplugged, where we talk about sports, entertainment, and mental health in support of the Kennedy Kids Foundation. If you're struggling with mental health, we encourage you to speak up and get help. A great place to start is 988. That's the free crisis prevention lifeline. Or you can check out the resources tab at kennedykids.org. If you are in an absolute emergency, please dial 911. Either way, we want you to know that you are not alone and that you don't have to struggle, and speak up, get help. There are resources available to you, and we are here to support you. If you're new around here, I want to introduce you to our host. I am Misty Buck. I am an author and a mental health and performance coach. And my co-hosts are Robert Bailey. He is the president of Rosenhaus Sports, the president of Kennedy Kids Foundation. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time college national champion. He's an NFL record holder, and he's an ESPY winner. And we are also joined by Bailey Brooks Masburn. She is a celebrity wedding and event planner, a former NFL cheerleader, and the executive director of the Kennedy Kids Foundation. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Bailey and Buck Unplugged. Today, we are so excited and honored to welcome Oscar Cuza to the show. He is the founder of Performance and Recovery System, which is a Miami-based athletic recovery and wellness facility that supports pro athletes and high performers. But here's the thing. His belief is that recovery should be proactive, not reactive. And it's not just physical that we're talking about and that he's passionate about. It's also mental health and mental wellness, recovery, burnout, emotions. We've talked so much, him and I, about the connection between mind and body and mind. And so we really couldn't wait to get him on the show to have this conversation. Today, we're really looking forward to this lively discussion on how athletes and individuals can support holistic performance, knowing, again, how the body affects the mind and vice versa. So I'm going to stop talking now because I'm super excited to hear from you, Oscar. Welcome to the show.
And thank you so much for having me, Misty. Thank you. Very,
Misty,
very
how
glad
come
to
you
be
never
here.
clap, Misty? You gotta clap.
I'm
There
sorry.
we go. Welcome, Oscar. There we go. All right. I'm always clapping.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm very excited to have this conversation and, share a little bit about what we do, as well as just have a very important conversation, share with the community, and connect, so I'm very privileged and grateful to be on here with you guys. Thank you.
Well, I do have to say, you're the first guest we've ever had join us from a hyperbaric chamber. So that's a first for the show.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool.
We have some privacy in here, so yeah, I love it. We use the hyperbaric a lot. And we have a multi-place, so it's a pretty big chamber. We have a lot of space here.
That's amazing. That's the one therapy, one of the ones I haven't tried out at your facility yet, so I'll have to check that one out. So the first question that we always like to ask our guests is if you could shed some light and on when you experienced or understood really the importance of mental health and wellness. So whether it was something you personally went through or maybe you saw somebody else go through, but what was like that pivotal mental health moment in your life?
Well, we could take it back to where action starts, right? First, you have to develop the mindset and set your mind and intention before you do some form of action towards it. If you really want to get any results. So for me, it always came a little bit natural to develop the mindset first and care about the mind before we took on the physical. So where was the intention, and then go from there. When it came to mental health, we have a lot of experience. All of this, we go through a lot of therapies that are very uncomfortable, right? Like cryotherapy, cold shock, even hyperbaric, setting up the expectation. You really realize all of this is all mental. A lot of the game is mental. more than physical. So tackling that on, we saw a correlation between where the person's mindset at and their emotions to how they heal physically.
Right. I mean, I remember just you bring up a thought in my mind. I remember when I used to play and when I used to play football, and Jimmy Johnson used to say, if you're hurt, you get your ass back out on the field. If you're injured, you're done. You're off. You're not going to play. And for a long time, as kids just getting out of high school, we didn't know what the hell that meant. We were like, hurt, injured. I mean, is that I'm hurt? You know what I mean? I'm injured. What's the difference? I'm hurt.
Right.
And really, he was trying to say, hurt is like a mindset, right? You can play through a little bump or bruise. It's just a mindset you have to have, right? Injured is you really tore something or broke something in your body, and it doesn't matter what your mindset is. It's pretty hard to play through
Right.
that. And he put us through all these type of sayings, and where he would say things like that, and he would just get our mind in a position to win games. And we were very successful. We found out later on that he was like a psychologist in college, right? So we were like, we had this psychologist coaching us the whole time, but nobody really knew. But he knew what what he was trying to get us to do through our mind, even though we play with our bodies. And you just reminded me kind of like of that moment when he would say, hey, are you hurt or are you injured? It really starts with your mind, right?
Right.
Do you see more of that now with the athletes that we deal with, that we watch on TV, whether it's high school, college, or pro? Do you see more of that mindset playing a big part? Because obviously there's a lot more social media, there's a lot more focus on the internet and all that. How has that affected the athlete of today in your experience when when guys come to you? How much of it is really the mind?
Well, you made a valid point, right? And you mentioned social media. There's a lot of comparison going on, and that's put people in a state of this person's doing this and what am I doing? And there's this back and forth. So I haven't found, although there's, how would I put it? It's a tool at the end of the day. It could be used for good or bad. And how we've seen it is a lot of kids are comparing themselves instead of focusing on the basics and the fundamentals of the game. You did mention mindset and mental when it came to the sport and getting injured. So something that we deal with a lot is like return to play, return to sport, right? These guys could be 100% physically, but mentally they're not there. They've lost
Right.
their confidence because they got injured. Right?
Right.
How do we build that back up? And that's a prime example of how mindset and just the mind is so powerful that even though you are physically healthy, all cartilage are built up, everything you look 100%, right? According to the physical therapist, everything looks good, but mentally you haven't built the confidence back up to get back on the field. And that just tells you how important mindset is to playing the game, and not only playing the game but playing life. One of the good things that I have seen with social media for sure is this, right? The ability to connect and allow people to see that we're all kind of facing that. But the guys that come in, obviously not everybody talks about it, but we do know, and I love that we're on this platform now talking about it, that the mental health aspect is so important. So many things change when these guys make pro. Their lives change. Oh, they take a whole 180, right? From the part of the lifestyle that can really affect the mind and how they carry themselves. So we have seen that. We try to create an environment where they're open to share and to heal from that. Because again, it's not only physical, but it's emotional. It's also mental.
Yeah, the one thing I want to bring up is, so you're unique in that way, I believe, because you know playing sports, everyone has a physical therapist, and that's what they call them,
Mhm.
physical therapists. Hey, you're hurt. Go see the physical therapist inside. The physical therapist comes out, touches the area, puts ice on it, heat, whatever they're going to do, they do. And at no point in that physical therapist journey to become a physical therapist have they ever really learned about mental health or the
Right.
mental therapy of things. So it's interesting that you realize that and you understand that. Is that something that's really new in your industry where you think it should be something that is a class should be taken, it should be more education for the physical therapist to understand when they're dealing with someone's injury, at what point does their mental health come into play? I just want to bring up something that happened the other night. There was an athlete that played college sports. I'm not going to say which sport or which athlete for privacy, but there's an athlete that played and he got injured and he left the court and went into the locker room. They then did their physical look at him and told him, "You're fine to go back in the game." And he said, "No, I'm not going back in the game." He came out of the locker room. They told him, "Don't sit on the bench." He sat in the crowd. And then they released him from the team. Yeah, because he didn't want to go back out there. They're telling him, "You're part of this team. You don't have a broken bone. You don't have a torn muscle." Or we did our MRI, whatever they do, and they said, "You're fine. Go back out there and play." He says, "I'm not fine. I'm not going back out there." So they release him from the team. I think that is where they missed the mental health part of that whole situation with that kid. And he's a couple of years away from high school. He's obviously going through something mentally at that
Right.
moment. And they did not realize it. It's like the police shooting a crazy person in the street. They didn't realize it was a mental health situation. They thought this was a person that knew what they were doing and attacked the police. It's just the same in college sports. If you don't recognize it, you assume it's something else. They assumed it was disobedience or whatever they want to call it. And they released them from the team. That is kind of like, how does that mental health play in that situation? If they were educated more on the mental health side, whether it was a physical therapist or the coach, they would have been able to address it back in the locker room when they were dealing with him instead of releasing him from the team. So my question to you is, do you think like at some point in the journey of going through the education part, they should educate you guys more on the mental health part of things?
Hey, absolutely. I think we've had just the way we do treatment, and since we're not physical therapy, we deal more on the preventative side. A lot of injury risk reduction. We offer a holistic approach. So we're talking about maintenance, overall health. We get to spend more time with the athlete.
Right.
So, like, for example, physical therapy, 15, 30 minutes. That's not enough time to sit down and have a real conversation. Not enough time to build rapport, like per treatment, right? With us, we do an hour, 90 minutes. Sometimes we're building a whole system for it's a 2 hour, between hyperbaric and compression and soft tissue work. So we get to build a relationship with the athlete that we start seeing a little bit more. We start building more rapport, more trust to the point of we are tackling the psychological and the mental health part as well. It's not just a physical aspect, and we're really aware of that. And I'll give you an example of how aware it is. We treat youth as well. So we treat youth athletes. These guys recover very well, right?
Right. They're
They're
young.
they're young. They recover very, very well. So what are we doing? We have to educate. Most of our work with the youth is education. It's
Right.
most mindset.
What's the tools that you guys use in the on the mental health side of things within your company? What are some of the tools? Techniques? What do you guys use?
Right. So setting up expectations and letting them know that everything is like we have a conversation with them, right? So the biggest thing is honestly having a conversation where you grow some curiosity into where they're at and listening. A lot of it comes down to listening more than, oh, look, you got to do this and you got to do that. So we have a lot of therapies, like for example, cryotherapy and cold plunge, right? Cold plunge sauna. These are therapies that are very, very uncomfortable, right?
Right.
Either extreme heat or extreme cold. So before that, you have to really prep them and have a
Yeah.
conversation with them of what to expect, how important it is to breathe, right? So understanding that you got to lean into discomfort for growth, like little things where you start, okay, I understand this. I understand if I'm going through this anxious moment. Like some of our therapies are
Yeah.
built to take on, these physiological effects that happen to the athlete in the game as well as outside of the game, right? We're talking about raising the heart rate up and being
Yeah.
comfortable and breathing and bringing yourself down. That's what happens when you do any type of cold shock. Your heart rate goes
Right.
up. Okay, calm down. Let's breathe. Remember, let's go back to the breath. And when it comes to any situation outside of life, they're familiar with that feeling that they come back down and they breathe, they calm, right? Bring some blood flow back. Yes, we take it on a scientific, right? We take it on to, hey, look, blood flow, circulation. Let's reset the nervous system. All these little things that help them understand that you can always come back to the breath. And not only that, understanding that, you know, the words that you use. Sometimes
Right.
we have kids that come in and they just lost the game. They feel defeated, but they still need to recover, right? But they feel defeated after a game. And it's like, okay. Or, for example, I had a kid. He only got 1 minute of game time,
Right.
right? And he's like, man, like I want more time. I want more time. And he's like beating himself up about it. And I'm listening to him again, taking the time to sit down and listen and see, okay, understand, great, you got 1 minute of game time. Did you give it your all during that 1 minute?
Right.
Yes. Okay, leave it there. Next minute that you get, give it your all again and
Right.
reset. Don't dwell on the past of like, man, I'm not getting enough this. No, let's work for it. Let's take the actionable steps. Let's get better and move towards that direction. That way, when you do get the 5 minutes of game time, you're able to perform. And just understanding that, like, just the gratitude aspect. Okay, great. I got this little bit. All right, let's keep on going. All right, let's not dwell too much on this. What can we have done better? Okay, great. Let's keep on moving. That cognitive behavior goes a long way to
Right.
continue to move forward.
I agree with you. I've been in a cold tub many, many times. And you really have to get your mind right before you go in. Because
Right.
if you go in, if you don't have your mind right, you go in at before it even hits 60, 90 seconds, you're already ready to jump out.
Right.
Right. So you got to like mentally get your mind right. And so I feel you. I connect with you on that. You really have to, if you want a guy to get the most out of his therapy that you're giving him, the physical therapy, you got to really get his mind right to accept it and to go through with it. So in your life, what made you want to get into this side of the medical industry, the physical therapy and mental? What made you want to get into? Did you know this at a young age, or is this something that came to you in college?
So fitness and health has always been a part of my life. It's just something that I played baseball when I was very young. I had families of doctors. This is something that was always around me, the medical field. Nutrition, fitness, bodybuilding. It's been one of those things that for me has always been around me. Now, going into this space, the proactive, the preventative space, was something that I just saw a void in. Traditional medicine really tackled, oh, you got injured, great, now let's treat you. Oh,
Right.
this happened, okay, now let's treat you. Instead of taking the preventative measures to create some form of protocol to maintain and keep on going, keep on training and recovering at the same pace. Most people don't have an overtraining problem or they have an under recovery problem, right?
Right.
They're under recovered. We talk so much about stressors, about training, the hustle, the grind. We don't talk about the reset, the rest, the recovery.
Right.
especially in different aspects. It's not only sports, in life in general. There's no time for reset and understanding that is part of the process to properly recover. For myself, I did see how important health was and the preventative measures. Um, Back in 2019, I had a critical case where I had a lymph node infection that almost cut circulation to my brain. And you realize how important health is in general. And coming back from that, my attention went fully on how do we prevent. You're only going to go as far as your health allows you to in every
Right.
capacity, and that doesn't only mean physical health; it means mental health, and it means emotional health and spiritual health as well.
Right. But then your mental health journey, right? You played baseball. You started baseball, I'm sure, as a kid. At what point in your life did you have a tough time mentally? Like, to the point where maybe you were depressed or you had some suicidal thoughts, or have you ever gone through a moment in your life where, you had a tough time, and how did you get out of that tough time?
Right. So right now I'm in the sport of business. Right.
Right.
So this is the sport that I'm in. So and when it comes to this sport, it's like any other sport, right? You got to train, you got to execute, you got to recover, and you got to keep on, like, it's a constant cycle. So you're gonna run into all kinds of things throughout this process, doubt, tiredness, exhaustion, all of the above, and you have to be able to take care of yourself throughout this whole journey, right? To keep on going, or else you're gonna completely burn out
Right.
and crash, right? Belief and faith. For me, my faith is very big, and being leaning into gratitude every single morning that I'm able to do what I get to do, to able to impact lives. What I do is very fulfilling, So being able to do that every single day, I wake up with a responsibility and gratitude that keeps me going. It's one of those things that I think to myself, is what we're doing worth it? Is everything that we're at towards a good mission? And the answer ends up being yes, no matter what's going on. So it's
Right.
really about cutting that negative talk early in the process. So you get one negative, okay, no, and you realign yourself and developing that cognitive behavior. You train it over time, and it becomes easier every single time.
When
When
did
did
you
you
learn?
learn it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when did you learn that?
When
At
did
what
you learn all
age
this?
did you
Because
learn that?
yeah.
'Cause I remember as a kid, and I remember as a kid losing games and being totally devastated, you know, and I remember having, a girlfriend and breaking up with my girlfriend. I didn't know how to handle all of that. I just kind of like went with the flow. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of went with the flow. Obviously, as I got older and learned some more tools, I knew what to do. I knew how to handle. I knew how to reset myself, reset my mind. How did you know all these? How did you? When did all that happen for you? Where you knew to do that? That was the way to go. You know what I mean? With your mindset at your
So
age.
So principles and values are very important. I have a phenomenal upbringing.
There you go.
You know,
That's it.
my
Mom and
parents
dad.
very hardworking. I come from an immigrant background. I was born in Cuba and I came here very young. So to me, I always saw it to be a privilege, and I very grateful. Gratitude,
Right.
leaning back to gratitude and leading with gratitude is, yeah, sure. This is yeah, I lost the game, but you know what? I can get back up. I can train harder, and I can attack the next day. And then like that, every single day, you approach life every single day like that, and it becomes second nature. But it does
Right.
come back to certain principles and values I had early on. Great support systems. Nothing's ever perfect, but it's having a great support system where you can have a conversation, has really helped. And then educating myself. I'm an only child, so to me, it's always been, trying to figure it out, reading books, educating, and then applying and doing. The more you do, the more you realize, look, yeah, it's not going to come easy. Yeah, things are going to be hard, but don't give up and keep on going and persevere.
That's great. That's great. What are some of the morals and values? Just, you know, obviously you came here at a young age, and I'm sure, like you said, you give your parents a lot of credit. What are some of the morals and values that you remember they putting in you at an early age? your parents?
So my father
Was
is
your father was the one that had the biggest impact on you in that regard?
when it comes to positivity, most definitely. My father is, you call him at 5 in the morning. One, he'll pick up, and two, he'll be. I'm like, how are you doing today? And he's like,
Right.
I'm 100%.
Right.
I'm 100%.
You-
And
w-
if I wasn't, like, I'll call him right now and I'll ask him, hey, how are you doing? And the first thing he says, I'm 100%.
Every time that was his thing. I'm
Every time,
100%.
I'm 100%.
I
Everything's
love
well. So
What do
how
you
do you?
attribute that? What do you attribute that to? That say, do you think he was trying to teach you something, or do you think he was telling you how he was really feeling at that moment? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes parents we decide we're going to do it this way
Yeah.
just to teach my child how I want him to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you think at this point that your dad was really trying to condition you, or that was really how he was feeling?
Well, I would have to have him answer that, right? Like for
Right,
himself. I think I can tell you this. No matter obviously we have a great relationship. So no matter how difficult things may get, there's always something to be grateful for.
right.
And that's just the mindset that it is. You have a choice. You can either think about things one way or the other way. They're both true.
Yeah,
They're both true.
yeah.
It decides how you think about it. And every single day that I saw him, giving his all to his day to day to provide for his family, and him saying at the end of the day, "Yeah, I'm great. Let's go. Keep on going." That I think that's what's really instilled in me, that level of work ethic and
Right,
perseverance. To wake up every day. There's no reason to project to others what you're going through. It's nobody else's fault. So how you display yourself, how you project, choose positivity, choose to you have an opportunity every time you talk to somebody. Either you leave them with something positive or you leave them with something negative. But that's an
right.
opportunity that you have with everybody you come in contact with. And
Your dad left you with something positive every time.
he left me with something positive every time. I was like, how are you doing? He's like, I'm doing great. Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing phenomenal. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
mean, obviously, life is hard. Things are hard, but hey, look, it's how you look at it. It's a privilege. I'm under a lot of responsibility, and it's a privilege for me. The pressure is a privilege. So I'm just very grateful every day to be able to do what I do.
That's a good one, Misty. Pressure is a privilege.
Pressure is a privilege.
Right. It's a privilege. It's not a right. It's a privilege.
Yeah, I think Billie
If,
Jean King originally said that, but yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah.
It just shows, I mean, if you have pressure, that means you're breathing and you're alive.
Yep.
So it really is a privilege because if you think about it, if you don't have pressure, then you're not alive. So you can't be privileged. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good one. I think we got to use that one, Misty.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And also, if you never feel pain, you're not alive and you don't have that privilege either, right? Like
Right.
that's part of the process. So I think I love this way of looking at things, and I love it too because there's a study or probably several studies that have been done that show that you can't be in a space like you're mentally, physically, your brain cannot be in a place of anxiety, stress, whatever, at the same time that it's in a space of gratitude. You can't do both at the same time. So I think that I love that your story. And it reminds me of I forget which Harbo brother it is, but he would use this in his locker room a lot. Who has it better than us? Nobody. And he says it's
Right.
because they'd be driving like in their broke down car, and every day the dad would tell the brothers, who has it better than us? Nobody. And they would say, nobody. So he brought that into the locker room. So that kind of reminds me of what you were saying your dad did. So I thought that was cool.
That's funny. That's a great story. Who has it better than us? Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, I think, yeah, and I want to say they said he'd be like driving this really beat up car and they'd make him be like, nobody,
Right.
or whatever was happening. So they brought that into their locker rooms today. So, and that's funny. And I hear what you're saying. I mean, I try to do that with my son every day. He's 2, but every day since he was 0 years old, I'd be like, okay, it's a
Yeah.
great day for a great day.
Yeah.
Like every
That's a
day.
great one. It's a great day for a great day.
Every day. Every day. I
That's
say.
good.
So hopefully, I'm hoping that I have that effect that your dad had on you, Oscar. I hope I
Yeah.
can do that.
I'm sure you will. It's consistency. It's consistency. Like till this day, to this day, I'll call him. It's the same thing. And you don't really start to internalize that until later, when you become a little bit more aware and conscious of
Right.
like, you've been doing this since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like you start really recognizing, and it's consistency matters. And that's
Yeah.
for everything when it comes to not only mental health, for recovery. People ask me all the time, oh, like what's the one modality that is the best one? And I'm
Yeah.
like, consistency. Like you can't
Yeah.
just do a thing one time. You have to
Yeah.
keep on doing it every single day. And that
Yeah.
consistency is what builds results.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
love that you bring up the proactive approach too, because I'm really big on that in mental health and wellness. I think you can't just wait until, if you wait until you have a problem, I think it's going to
Right.
be much, you might catch it a little bit later, or there might be other things versus if you take time to connect with yourself and get to know one. I led a workshop yesterday. We did a quick body scan exercise. Afterwards, a couple of the athletes came up to me afterwards. Oh, I didn't even realize I had tension there until we did that. And I'm like, well, yeah, you got to take the time to be
Right.
proactive and connect with yourself. And so I love that you guys take this approach and that you bring in the mental aspects of it too, because I have to imagine, I'm not in your seat, but I have to imagine that when somebody is breathing properly, when somebody is a little more relaxed, they don't have as much tension or stress or anxiety, that their body is also relaxed, and that helps with recovery.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely. The whole point of recovery is getting you into a parasympathetic state. So we're talking about like your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system, going from flight or fight to rest and digest. A lot of us get stuck on that flight or fight, right? Always stressed,
Right.
always, and we don't get to that parasympathetic state. And that's something that we do here. Like all of the modalities that we have are to get you into that parasympathetic state and help you understand like this is what's going on. This is how your nervous system was. Let's get you down here, and understand the value of that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so important. That you guys are having that you're having these conversations. And I think we've touched on this before, in a separate conversation, of course, but that sometimes athletes will come in, they want to go away from the facility, away from the eyes of the coaches. And we've talked about this, that sometimes the people that know them the best are the personal trainers or the physical therapists, because that's where they have the space they probably feel like to have more of those conversations, I guess.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if you don't have to name names if you don't want to, but if you can kind of share an example, maybe if there's a time where you were working with somebody, it doesn't matter the level, but where you helped them sort of make this shift mentally and how that helped with their physical recovery.
Right. So let me see. It's that we have so many cases like that. At the end of the day, when it comes to athletes, um, if they're going through any injury, it's very important that we have trust and confidentiality, right? So it's very important that we deal with the problem and help them heal without disclosing anything that doesn't need to be disclosed. So the that in itself, them having that trust and them knowing, hey, look, I'm gonna get work here, and I know I can trust them, already puts them in a state of healing. They come nice, relaxed, and you can tell physically. You can tell in muscle tone. You can tell when they're getting treated and they're getting soft tissue. If they're guarded, if they're tense, like you can really tell, because it manifests physically. And that's something like a lot of people don't realize how your emotions and your mindset manifest physically. It's
Right.
until you create some awareness, or we do some type of intervention that it creates that awareness. But it gets all held up. This body holds it all up. Everything that's going up in here and emotionally. So one of the things that we've seen, allowing that kind of trust coming in through our doors, is us speeding up the recovery process. Needless to say, like if we're in a place where we feel comfortable, where we feel safe, we're not in flight or fight mode anymore.
Right.
So we're able to recover better. And not only that, those positive thoughts, your whole body communicates. So everything from your neurons up here across the whole body, every breath that you take, how you take it, how intentionally you take it, helps with healing.
Was there like a specific moment though when you were working with somebody and sort of like there was really this moment where you were like, oh man, like this really, even though it sounds like you've had this idea that mindset matters throughout your entire life, was there a moment that you thought that you saw this like a shift, like something that like the number one thing that sticks out to you when you think of an athlete that you've worked with or an individual that you've worked with and you saw that shift? Can you think of one of those moments? I'm just curious.
Let me see. One of the things that we constantly see is when they get exposed to how they're supposed to feel, because a lot of people will come in thinking that they've been feeling normal this whole
Mm,
time, and then we get them to baseline and the actual normal, and they have this almost this whimsical hope. They're like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be feeling like. So this is not this in getting that little spark, that little taste of like this is where I'm supposed to be at once they leave our establishment. Because a lot of the times it's like we can do everything that we can in here,
mhm.
but at the end of the day they have to leave and they have to go back home and they're dealing with maybe things at home or at school or at the professional level. And we're just hoping that we gave them the tools and the the direction to be able to handle problems a lot better. So it really does come down to mindset and just the communication, like how they're welcomed through or just getting that constant every single day. How are we doing today? Are you doing well? And them feeling that energy every single day, they they carry that with them. And like I mentioned before, you have an opportunity to make an impact on somebody's life, either positive or negative. If you're constantly making an impact positively in their life, they're gonna pass that on.
Right.
They receive something positive, they're going to pass on that positivity, and getting that spark and that feeling really does help them reshape and lead them into a better direction.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. Because again, I think, we've talked about everything is so connected and sometimes we don't really take the time to really think about that. So I love that we're having this conversation today, not only about how to support other people and be, positive and choose your mindset type of a thing, but also just really kind of uncovering further that connection between mind and body and body and mind. Like I think that's something again that we don't really think about a lot. So I think some of the the stuff that you guys do there probably has mental health benefits as well. Just the treatment itself. Like,
Yeah.
so red light therapy is something that you guys do, and that's trending. And I've heard like that has all kinds of positive effects. So is that one of the ones? I'm just curious. Is that one of the ones that helps with things like
Right.
stress management and all that stuff?
So not only red light therapy, cryotherapy, so cold exposure, sauna, hyperbaric. What we do and the services and treatments that we do here at our facility are the fundamentals, right? So oxygen, light. We're talking about hot and cold. We're talking about the soft tissue, and then
Mhm.
the overall spiritual aspect of it, which is who you're interacting with, from a business standpoint, the hospitality, like how much we care, like we truly care about what we do. And that's why I go back to saying the fulfillment aspect. We get to do something that is really impacting somebody's life in a positive way. So when we come back, so for example, red light therapy, it's phenomenal. You're energizing the cell, you're producing more ATP, you're getting mood enhancement. So there's different little things. Cryotherapy, dopamine, endorphins. You're getting all these hormones rushed, right? Hyperbaric. We're talking about stem cell release. We're talking about better circulation, anti-inflammatory markers. All these things that will hold you back and will affect you mentally as well.
Man, I'm telling you, this is so educational for me because I never, I know that there's a connection between, you know, the mental and the physical in terms of, um, having your mental help you with healing and the therapy. But the way you've explained it, it almost like comes hand in hand, and I think about it and I'm like, man, it's almost like sometimes like just knowing I'm getting ready to go get a massage, my mental state, like almost like prepares my body for the massage. And then I'm looking forward to that great feeling that comes at the end. My mind starts to like put me in a mood to accept that great feeling.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like if you have worries on your mind and you're thinking about negative things, you're not going to enjoy the massage like you would thinking positively and looking forward to the end result, right? So now that I'm hearing all the things you guys are saying, I see how it's all connected, and it to me is even more connected than what I originally thought. It really is a part of the healing process, the mental state, as you said, like preparing your subject to go through a therapy session and talking to them. And it's just not that 15-30 minute get them in and get them out. There's a process at the beginning of preparing the mindset and talking to them and getting to know them and connecting with them, then putting them through the process of the physical therapy. And then as they're coming out, continue to work on the mindset of your subjects. And it just, to me, it just makes so much sense now. I think it should be mandatory that through your journey of learning to be a physical therapist, that you learn the mental part of it as well.
How it correlates, because it's all holistic. I think that's something that's the direction that we're heading
That's the
in.
right word, holistic.
The direction that we're heading in is something that we've been in, but I love how everything's being caught up, right? So the aspect of it's not just it. The problem isn't the shoulder. The problem can be the problem. You're looking at the problem as the output here. Oh, I have an issue in my shoulder, but it might be coming from the back. The fascias
Right.
are interconnected.
Right.
So it's the same thing. Everything's all holistic, but traditional medicine had let us be like, okay, shoulder. There's a shoulder problem. No, what's the system problem? What's
Right.
going on? What's the whole body?
Or can it come from the mind? Because I remember those situations with coaches and my teammates, and the coach is like, dude, you're fine. Your MRI is great. Your X-rays are great. You're fine. We need you out. We need you out there. And they're going, no, coach, it hurts. It still hurts here. It still hurts. And then they're like, it's in your mind. You're good. I remember those like it was yesterday. But
Yeah, it's all mental. How many times have we heard that? It's all mental. It's all in
yeah,
the
it's all
mind.
mental. It's all
Mind
mental.
over matter. Mind over matter.
100%. 100%. It's like they were conditioning us to
Right.
separate our mind from our body.
Right. Right.
And you bring up a lot of great points. It all should be together. It's all together. Just because that athlete is 100% physical, that the mental aspect can make his body feel like he's not 100%,
Oh, or he's gonna underperform.
or he's
Look,
going to
we're
underperform.
talking about pro days right now. We're looking at combines,
Right,
and like it's not only getting you peak physically, it's getting
right.
you peak mentally.
Mentally,
It's getting
right,
you ready. Because you could be amazing. Like your body's ready, you're well recovered, all this, but then your confidence shoots. How many times have we seen that? We see that a lot in fighters, right? You're doing
right,
one of the most difficult, getting in the octagon with somebody else that wants to kill you as well.
right,
Like that's you're like, he's ready physically, but mentally he has to be in there,
right,
you
right.
know? And you can easily psych yourself out. How many times have we not seen this in sports? Like they're 100% well, and then mentally they psych themselves out before the game.
100%. It's all connected. It really
Correct.
is. It's all connected. And I appreciate you and your view on how it is all connected. And I've learned a lot from what you've said. My whole moving forward, just the way I'm going to approach things in terms of my body, going to the gym, working out, getting therapy. I'm I'm gonna really take note of my mindset and put myself in a more positive place and try to eliminate some of the negative things that maybe I'm on my phone or whatever, and really focus on the moment of, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym, or hey, I'm gonna go get a massage, or I'm gonna go get therapy. Let me focus in on allowing this process to work, because I think you're 100% right. If I do that, I'll get more results. I'll
Yeah,
get better results.
absolutely. Being present, right? So that's what we're talking about, right? Like being present in the moment. If we're gonna do
Yeah,
this, let's be focused on this. That's really where we want to be. We want to be in that present state. And again, lean in with intentionality, be present into what we're doing. Um, and I mean, having this conversation with you has led me to think about multiple things, right? Like, so community is very important. Look, you're feeling some type of way, go be with people. Go
right,
spend some time, have a conversation. Most of the time we're any state like depression or any type of anxiety, we try to isolate ourselves. No,
right.
let's do it and just put ourselves in the position to be with others and communicate and be in that community and creating a space where you could do that. That's what we found to be. People come in and they're ready, okay, I'm here to heal. They're already in that mindset. I'm here to heal.
Yeah,
Same with training. Hey, look, mentally, go into the gym. Go for a walk outside. Like you have to move your body because it correlates the physical with the mental and vice versa.
right. Misty, this is right up your area. Like
Yeah, man.
you deal with athletes and pros, college athletes, and you help them with their mindset.
Yeah.
Have you noticed like their mindset, their mental state, and how it connects with their physical? Have you
Yeah,
noticed that?
absolutely. Yeah, of course. Because think about it this way, if you are like stressed and your body, that's why I had, like, for example, we did a body scan yesterday in the workshop that I was doing. You may not even realize that you're holding tension in certain areas. Well, when you're holding tension in certain areas, you're tighter, you're not as loose to perform, you're more prone to injury,
Right.
right? Like there's a lot of things that happen there. Also, we know scientifically, which there's a few things here, but you may not know that your body and mind are so connected that you've heard of visualization, you guys, right? Robert, Oscar,
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
have heard of this. So visualization is so effective because science has proven that your body doesn't know the difference between what you're thinking and what's actually happening. So the way that I like to explain that is, in a simple term, is like if you go have like a VR headset on, you're playing a game, or you're on like one of those ride simulation things at like an amusement park, and let's say you fall and you feel that in your body, like your body will feel like it's falling, like kind of like when you're dreaming and you feel like you're falling and you feel that sensation in your body. You're not actually physically falling. It's your
Right.
brain is communicating that to your body and your body's responding to that. So that's the thing, is it doesn't know the difference. So it's so intricately connected that I think people really, if they took time to know themselves a little bit better, and this is why we talk about grounding and breathing and all these other things, because we're so what I call top heavy a lot of the times in our head. But when you connect into your body, you're much more aware of what's actually going on. Same thing, you mentioned, Oscar, growth mindset versus survival mindset. Same thing as the gratitude, other stress example I shared. You can't be in both at the same time.
Mhm.
When you're in survival mode, your body is literally sending stress hormones to save your life, which means you're going to react instead of respond.
Right.
Because you can't, like, because it's literally in the mode. Doesn't matter if you're in traffic and you're stressed or your life is really threatened, right? So
Right.
it's fascinating to me. I could obviously talk about this all day, and Oscar and I have had many conversations about this. I'm sure we will have more in the gym. But yeah, it's really fascinating how connected everything is. And that's why I think it's so important that when you're doing mental performance and performance in general, that in mental wellness, you understand how everything works together.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
Fascinating.
we're at the part of the show where we usually ask our guests,
Yes.
to give us three things that you do to put yourself in a great mood. What are three things? Like, some of our guests say reading, some go, for a jog. what are 3 things that you do when you need to put yourself into a better mood?
3 things that I do to put myself in a better mood. Um, hyperbaric. So
Right.
hyperbaric, my
Well said, since
uh,
you're in there. Well said. You must have one
I'm
of those
ready.
things in your house.
Yes, yes. Hyperbaric. Um, great mood. 3 minutes cryotherapy. Shock the
Okay.
body.
Shock
Cold
the body.
exposure. And
When you do the cryo, really quick, when you do the cryo, you go up, you go all like your whole body, or is it to your neck only?
so ours is nitrogen based, so it's up to the neck.
Okay.
And below
Okay.
zero, we're talking about 3 minutes. You're dry and you're shocking the system, getting
Wow.
that nervous system activated.
Before you tell
And
us the third one, because I'm so interested in that, tell us a little bit about how the cryotherapy helps your body.
cryotherapy is a great anti-inflammatory, right?
Okay.
It elevates your heart rate, it shocks your nervous system. Doing it consistently, it's going to help convert. It's going to release some cold shock proteins. It's going to help convert white fat into brown fat. So when we're talking about losing some visceral fat, it really does help with that. And overall mood, so dopamine, endorphins. We're getting into that flight or fight state. And what happens when you're in a flight or fight state? You focus, you're dialed in. So those are some benefits of cryotherapy. Um, and I mean, it's very convenient and it's very effective. Again, it's dry. So we're talking about
Right.
you're in there, you're 3 minutes in, and you're out, and that's it. You're ready to go.
I got to try. I haven't tried it, but I will try it one day.
No,
What's your
absolutely.
third? What's your third? I'm sorry.
My third is gratitude, right? Leaning into
Gratitude.
gratitude. I'll give you a short
Being
story.
thankful.
Being thankful. I'll tell you a short story. I ran a half marathon, so the Miami Marathon back in 2019.
Wow.
And I've never been a runner.
Me neither.
But
I ran the Publix marathon, half marathon. That was
oh,
2 weeks ago.
that's you build a
You
great
did?
relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta
Missy,
connect
where
that.
have you been? It's been all over our
I, I
Kennedy
didn't
Kids
realize
chat.
that was that. So sorry. Okay, we're totally off track. Sorry, Oscar.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, I'm sure you built a great relationship with yourself because that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's essentially what happened to me when I went on my endurance, journey. So it was a buddy of mine. He's like, hey, look, he's been a runner now for some time. He's ran a couple marathons, and he tells me, hey, you should come and do this with us. And I'm like, okay. At this point, like I'm not in the running space at all. Never
Right.
done any type of long endurance. Like I haven't done any of that. But he's like, look, we're doing it for charity. And I'm like, great. Okay, what charity are we doing it for? Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So it happens in males, very rare. Um, and I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm all about it. Let's go. I had 4 months to train for it. I had to have run around 200 miles, so I ran a lot. I lost a lot of weight, but throughout that time, the one thing that kept me going because you're running a lot of miles is gratitude.
Right.
So it was, look, I get to do this. I
Right.
get to run. Everything's working. Like
Right.
I'm able to breathe well. I'm able to get up
Yeah.
every single day. And this
I know
was
exactly what you mean.
I was like, I get to do this. I really get to, and I
Yeah.
have kids that, I mean, this is what we were running for. We had kids that even if they wanted to, they can't.
Right.
Even if they wanted to, with all their might, they physically can't. And I'm over here complaining because I feel a little fatigued. Like, let's go, let's keep on going.
Right.
And that's what pushed me through every single run. That's what pushed me through every single run. And then you build a really good relationship with yourself.
That's your pressure. That's your pressure is a privilege.
Right.
Right
Correct.
there. You get to do it. It's you got to be grateful that you're even alive to be able to do it.
Right.
You're grateful that you're able to move your legs and put one in front of the other. You're grateful to breathe. You're grateful just to wake up.
Right.
So that's awesome. So we'll take those into consideration. I will tell you that I will use one of your, because I already run, but I will use the hyperbaric chamber, and I have to go and get that cold therapy and do all that. I have to do that. I haven't done it yet, but I will since you recommend it.
Yeah, more than welcome. You can come by. We'll do it here at the facility, and I'll show you how to do a proper protocol.
There we
More than
go.
welcome.
There we go.
There you
Tell-
go. Well, speaking of Oscar, tell us how
Yeah.
people can find you.
So you can either find us on Instagram, p.r.system, our website, www.precoverys.com. We're pretty much from there. You can find us. We're here. We're based in Miami. We're right
Where in
next
Miami
to,
are you guys? Where in Miami?
we're right near Pinecrest, so
Okay,
Kendall
so you're in
Pinecrest area,
Pinecrest. Okay. All right.
right next to the falls. If you know the falls,
Okay. I know the falls.
Near
No,
your
no.
old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, Oscar, thank you so much for your time. We want to remind everybody, if you are struggling with your mental health and wellness, of course, there is the 988 Crisis Prevention Suicide Line. It is completely free. Make sure that you're using that. You can text, you can call. There's no shame in it. It's completely confidential. If you're in an absolute emergency, please dial 911. And if you're looking for more resources or you want to learn how to support causes like ours, please check out kennedykids.org. We constantly have events and things going on. You can help us support others in our mission to promote mental wellness and prevent suicide. So, Oscar, thank you so much again for your
Thank you,
time.
Oscar.
thank you so much for having me.
Misty, clap, Misty, clap.
I'm sorry.
All right.